Hello, everyone, and welcome to Blog Runner Everything, and welcome back to the channel. And it's been another good night out for FC Barcelona. 5 goals scored, can't complain too much about that. 3 conceded, though, pretty late on the other two came, but it's 5-3 win away at Real Betis, and I think generally that tends to be a high scoring match. Barca Real Betis, whether home or away. So the fact that Barca ends up on the winning side of an 8 goal thriller, thanks largely to Mr. Ferran Torres with his hat trick. La Liga sometimes can just leave you feeling a bit confused, because how is Ferran Torres this good in the league, but then just, bang on average in the Champions League? It's putting away chances that in the Champions League he doesn't put away. But I guess that's a discussion for another day here. Robert Lewandowski got to get a full night's rest, so maybe he's going to start against Frankfurt. I guess we'll see how all of that goes. But otherwise, it was a pretty interesting lineup today. We saw from Hansi Flick, of course, with Dani Olmo freshly injured and Fermin Lopez only just returning. It had to be Lamine Yamal starting in the number 10 position, and I have to say I kind of liked what I saw with Lamine as the 10. Of course, that also meant that Roony started on the right, and I have to say, pretty good outing from Roony Bardgj. Played a huge role in Barca's first goal, got the assist for Barca's second goal, and then scored Barcelona's fourth goal with what was just honestly just an absolute rocket of a strike. And you see all of that, and you can't help but just think, hey, maybe Barca might be all right. Because, I'm just imagining in my mind now, if Barcelona do go with Lamine in the 10 going forward, then, you have so many permutations, right? You could bring Rafinha in on the right, because we know Rafinha can play on the right. And then, that means you could have Rashford starting on the left, and, either Lewandowski or, Ferran Torres starting as the 9. Or, you could start Rashford as the 9, have Rafinha play on the left, and of course have Rooney play on the right, like we saw today. But anyhow, can't really complain as far as most of the performances I saw today. I still think that Barcelona need to figure out what they're doing exactly with that right back slot. Jules Koundé, he got his assist, so kudos to him for that. And after that assist, he kind of looked solid for the rest of the first half. But then, he just it felt like Amde could take him to the cleaners whenever Abde was serious about taking him to the cleaners. And of course, we saw that happen when he gave away a penalty. That's, of course, not to say much about Barcelona's penalty, which they got, because, look, I understand with those types of, deflections where the ball comes off of the player, then it's his hand. I understand that if the referee, the VAR sees that, he's going to pull the referee aside and it's going to be given as a penalty, right? We've seen those given so many times. It's not like this was the first time. It probably won't be the last time. But I think that going forward, it's something that, FIFA or whoever should really think about, because I don't think it's fair to give a penalty in that regard, because, what do you expect? Where do you expect his hand to go? If the ball deflects off of his body, then onto his hand. And it was a shot, which was in close proximity to him. So, not the best decision I felt there from the referee. But anyway, penalty was given and it was dispatched rather calmly by Lamine Yamal. I actually thought, that he should have given it to Rashford. But, he proved me wrong. He put it away pretty easily. And speaking of Rashford as well, he was probably unfortunate not to have scored in this game. Because, he did have that one chance where he was played clean through 1v1 and, he then he skewed his shot wide, which for now I'll blame it on the pitch being so wet because there was rain in this game and all of that stuff, right? But otherwise, he could have chipped the keeper there maybe if he was a bit more confident. But aside from that, as a Barca fan, there's not that much you can complain about here. You got the win, you stay on top. We know we still have some tricky matches coming up, Osasuna, Villarreal. So it's at least good that we're able to get the win over Real Betis. We survived the GOAT, Anthony. All right. And especially after the GOAT himself opened the scoring in this one. So, it was pretty good from Barcelona. And I'd say that the back line with the offside trap, the timing, they're starting to get that a lot better here, because we did see, a lot more of those disallowed goals for offside, even though the first one was pretty close as well, but hey, you take what you get and you work with it. And speaking of work with it, I'm having to work with, a bit of a code I'm fighting off. So I think I'm done for today. That's how abruptly we'll end this. Thank you all for tuning in. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section and whatnot. Aside from that, have a great day and Forza Barca.